this outer Cape Cod community, which really is Provincetown and Wellfleet and Truro all the way to Chatham, is a microcosm for the rest of the country. I spent a lot of time on Cape Cod. I've grown up going there to beaches in Wellfleet for years and years. It feels like a second home to me. And I, was quite aware of the arrival of the sharks, like someone got bit in 2012. But the death of Arthur Medici in the early fall of 2018, I just noticed a shift in the community. Like, okay, now everyone's scared. And then there was this divisiveness and people kind of falling into somewhat predictable political factions. And so that really piqued my interest. I'm not a nature documentarian. I am very interested in nature and concerned about climate change and everything. But this is a story about a community grappling with change and people experiencing change and how we all experience that so differently and we approach it so differently. And that change happens to come in the form of these, kind of terrifying predators. When I first started making this film, I assumed that there was a global warming component to why the sharks were so prevalent in the in the Outer Cape where they hadn't been before. But shark scientists are not comfortable attributing global warming to them being on the Outer Cape because we know so little about their movements. I mean, they go wherever they want. So the only thing we could state clearly was that they're coming closer to shore, which is why we're seeing them while there's more interactions with people because of the seals. So that became a really fascinating part of the story because it's a conservation success story. We brought seals back from extirpation, which is extinct in that area. And then they are the reason why the sharks are coming so close. Now, that said, the water is warming. There are different species moving north and species coming down south as the polar ice caps melt. But it's really hard to say if the great white sharks are there more because of global warming. One of the big messages I'd love people to take away from the film is to have some healthy reverence for the ocean and the animals that live in the ocean. Taking a step back and looking at how we view nature, it is not separate from us. We are nature and nature is us. More and more around the world, we're going to see more and more examples of this as we encroach on wildlife is running out of space. And so how do we get to the point where we can peacefully coexist with wildlife that actually can be a threat to us? Well, I think the Outer Cape is doing an incredible job, and it's a good example of how, because ultimately, all of these safety measures and awareness have worked. There has not been a shark bite about anyone since 2018. We can get to a place where we coexist and don't see wildlife as an enemy and see, that we are all, kind of in this together. We all live in our bubbles. And I want the film, by presenting all these different points of view, I just hope it does some good towards solving some of the divisiveness that continues to really cause us to not solve these bigger problems that are all of our problems.